Okay. I guess first, what a difference a year makes. Last year at this time, we talked about how many questions we had, just how much uncertainty we had because we had lost so much of our offense and our rebounding. A year later, it's great to be in a position where we've earned the kind of respect to be preseason number one. I think our players did a tremendous job last year with a very, very young team of showing up every day, having some big wins, but also finishing the season on a high note, getting to that finals, getting to that conference championship, and really trying to make a good run at the end. And I think that's something that we've looked at as trying to get some momentum into this year because of how we finished last season. But we still have a young roster. You look at eligibility-wise, we have 10 players of our 14 that are freshmen or sophomores. So it's still a very, very young team. We're excited about this year, and we're excited about our future. So.
If you have a question, guys, someone just grab the mic and ask me.
Coach, do you think this is at least a two-bid league, and do you have to, if you win the league regular season, do you think you still would have to win the tournament to get in?
I think we would know that a little bit more as we go forward. We've got a lot of new players in the league, so I think that's yet to be determined. Last year we were in a great position going into the conference. I think our RPI was 35, somewhere around in there, going into the conference play. We just had a part of our conference season where we lost some games, just some inconsistencies. If we hadn't done that, if we had lost maybe 2 less games, I think we could have still been in even if we didn't win the tournament. So a lot depends on what we do non-conference, the consistency we show within our conference. And obviously in the tournament it's going to matter, but hopefully we're not in a position where you have to win it.
I know last year Whitney Bibbins was out from a concussion. Is she going to be back? And if so, what kind of impact do you think she's going to make?
Well, first of all, I think Whitney can make a great impact. She's an all-around player for us. Her freshman year, I think she did some great things. We're bringing Whitney back slowly. She's been in practice a lot. She's actually been out of practice these last couple of days, but we're really trying to integrate her in pretty slowly. With that kind of injury, we just want to make sure that she doesn't get injured again. So, but we expect to have her. I mean, that's our plan right now. Versatile, she's going to play the 3 and the 4. So that definitely could be a piece that we didn't have last year that could be important for us.
How capable are you of replacing Brett, and how much of a challenge will it be rebounding and interior defense?
That's a great question. I think when we get ranked preseason number 1 and you lose a 1,000-point scorer and a 1,000-point rebounder, we've got some players have to make up some ground. I think the 2 things you said, her rebounding and her defense, are the 2 things that we really need to replace. We've got some freshmen that can make a difference in that as far as the defensive side of it. The rebounding is going to have to be a little bit more by committee. When you talk about making up 9 rebounds, I don't know that we have anybody on the roster right now that we can count on for 9 rebounds a game, but I think we've got some players that are very capable. We're pretty athletic, and I think we've got some, whether it's from the wing or from the 4 position, we've got some players that can put up some numbers for rebounding. So I think that's an element that we've really got to work on. The other thing I think we can get from this group that we didn't do a little bit last year was steals. I think we can make up some of that a little bit with stealing the ball and pressing and having a little faster pace this year. But we've got some work to do to make up for Brett's absence.
I know last year y'all had all freshmen, and now they've grown a season, and now they're sophomores. Like, what in that group do you think they've grown the most in, as far as being on the court, being mature?
Experience. I think the game experience is the most important thing. Being out there, look at Danielle sitting there. I mean, we played against LSU and she had the shot to win the game. That kind of experience you can't simulate in practice. So they've had a lot of minutes, and you look at those 4 freshmen and redshirt freshmen, Katie McGee. A lot of them have been on the court. So 2 things coming into this season. I thought preseason they knew more what to expect, so it wasn't such a learning experience every day, and I think the intensity level has increased in all of them just because they know that's what they have to do every day to show up and be able to compete. So in getting this team, as young as they were, to the finals last year, I thought was really, really important because they know what it's like to be there, and I thought we played a very, very good game in the finals. So it's a team that's ready to compete.
Will Grayson's game be any different, her, with so many young players around her and her being kind of the elder statesman? Will her game be any different from last year? Will she facilitate more or anything like that? Be more of an on-court type leader setting up people? And also, who is the most improved player from last year at this point?
Well, you can ask Olivia if her game's going to be different. I don't know. I think that when I look at Olivia's game last year, I think we put a lot of pressure on her. In some ways, I think it could be an easier season for her this year because her teammates have been out there and had that experience. So I think she'll be able to play a little bit more her game. I think she's really elevated that game. She's in the best condition I've seen her in. I think she's really ready to play. So I think I'm excited about what Olivia's going to do this year. I'm sorry, the other question. Most improved. That's a tough one. Our staff has kind of gone back and forth with who that is. I mean, I think the season will kind of tell that, but this summer our players spent a lot of time together, and this is the hardest I know that I remember a team working over the summer. I look at Janique just left, but I think Janique has come in the best shape that she's been in, and I see a big difference in her. I think Jamie Kaplan is somebody who's really advanced her game. It's hard to tell right now, but I think you can look at the entire freshman class last year and look at them now and look at the maturity now, that they would probably all be candidates for that most improved. So I guess that'll really be determined when we start games and see who really shows up in those games in that competition.
Coach, when they picked you number one in the preseason, did they get it right? And number two, you've had a lot of good teams here. Where do you think this one's potential might be?
I guess both of those questions I could answer more at the end of the season than I can now. Did they get it right? I think by the way we finished up last year, I can see why they voted us one, because I feel like we were returning so many players that put up some good numbers last year. Where this team ranks, it depends on how we develop. We're really deep. I like that in this team. We're really deep. We've got a lot of options. We can go really big. We can go fast. Probably our biggest question is our center position. What's going to emerge there? You're talking about losing Brett Benzio. What's going to emerge there? Does that dictate the kind of system we run? I like our options there. It's just a matter of how we develop. So that's going to be the big question to see where this team can go and where they can rank.
Good.
All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you.